Welcome to Elevated, a place where the mystical meets the everyday. I am Dawn, a stay-at-home mom to a wild and spirited boy, and a guide in the realms of Reiki, Akashic Records, natural healing, and soulful living. Here, we'll talk energy, intuition, spirituality, but also the realness of motherhood, wellness, and creating balance in the chaos of it all. So grab your tea, take a deep breath, and join me as we explore healing, alignment, and the beauty of both the magical and the messy. Welcome to Elevated. Welcome to Elevated. I'm Dawn. I'm your host. How are you doing today? I hope you are doing wonderful. I am doing fabulous. Today was the first day that we had beautiful weather like springtime. I think it was plus 10 today where I was living. Our snow is pretty much melted. We have massive puddles all over our yard, and I got to enjoy 1 hour of my little guy outside splashing in the puddle, walking back and forth, running back and forth. We have ice under this puddle as well, and it is quite big. It's probably, I would say, 50 feet long. It's a long puddle, and he was having so much fun. Absolutely loving it. And then my husband brought out his toy truck. So he has a Dodge Gen 1, and it's his toy. He loves it. It makes him smile every time he drives this 1992 Dodge diesel that just stinks, and it's loud and you can't hear yourself even think. Him and my son absolutely enjoy it. I said last week I was ready for winter to end, and I am a person that loves winter, so I never truly want winter to end. I was done. I was absolutely done with winter. I was tired of it snowing a ton. The roads, every time I have to take my son to play school, are nappy roads. I'm tired of it snowing and the melting, and then there's the ice, so now you have snow on top of the ice. I let these dogs out, and the one day I slipped, knocked my head on the ice. Luckily, I fell just flat on my back, and I didn't actually break anything or hurt anything, because I've known a lot of people that have slipped on ice this year and they've broken parts of their bodies. I did hit my head, but luckily I had a hood and it protected my head. And that's when I was like, I am done. I'm done with winter. I'm done with the little bits of snow that don't amount to anything. If it's gonna snow, snow. Like snow 20 centimeters so that we can go snowmobiling. Don't just snow a little skiff and make all the ice hidden. Super glad that it is super warm out right now. I want to get back outside. I want to be a part of nature, and it's the perfect time of year. There's no bugs yet. There's no ticks, because where I live, of course, we have ticks. We have a valley. I want to go walk in the valley. You can't walk in the valley when it's tick season. There's no mosquitoes. It's the best time of the year. I love temperatures too that are like between 10 and 25. That is my limit. Anything over that, I hate it. I'm hot. I don't want to go outside. I want to stay in the air conditioning. I don't like sweat. I just don't. So yeah, I'm not the girly that wants to go on that hot vacation. Not for me. Nope. Send me to the mountains, please. Send me to the backcountry with my snowmobile and let me enjoy the snow to go snowmobiling. Not the skiff of snow on ice. Not doing it. That's really not what I wanted to talk about today. Today, we are so lucky to have our guest, Jacquie Carter, back. Episode 24, she was here and we discussed access bars at that time. And today we're going to be discussing being you. What is it like to be authentically you? How do you become you? What do we need to do? What limitations do we need to leave behind in order to authentically be ourselves? And how great would it be if we could just be who we truly are meant to be? So Jacquie has actually dedicated a lot of years into learning how to be herself. She's taken courses. She implements it in with all of her energy work and body work that she does. She facilitates Being You courses. She actually does have a course coming up if you are in the Regina, Saskatchewan area and you're interested. April 11th and 12th, she has a Being You course. You can find out more about the courses that she's offering on her website at jacquiecarter.ca. I will link it down in the show notes afterwards. So if you're interested, if this intrigued you, inspired you in any way, go check that out. You can reach out to her and find out more about being you. If you're interested in Reiki treatments, Akashic Records reads, definitely reach out to myself at elevatedsoulhealing.com. I will link that as well in my show notes for you. You can find me on Instagram at Elevated Soul Healing. You can find me on Facebook at Elevated Soul Healing. If you're new to the podcast, I want to welcome you. Say, welcome. I'm Dawn. I am a Reiki master. I'm an Akashic Records reader. I'm just finishing up my course here. I'm working on my practicum clients right now for my Earth Mystery School Akashic Records, which is phenomenal. I cannot wait to really deep dive into it all, gather all the information. It's a lot of information, and just piece everything together and see how our karma is affecting us in this lifetime. So I thank you for being here. I'm so excited for you to be able to listen to the conversation that I had with Jacquie. She's amazing. She's just so knowledgeable and she knows so much and she's so vibrant. Her energy is just so beautiful and she is just so non-judgmental. And in this world, it is so nice to have someone that just doesn't judge. But I just absolutely love her and all that she brings to everyone's life that she is a part of. She does access bars if you're interested as well. So you can get your bars read from her, clear your mind, and really learn about being you and who you authentically are. If you like what you hear for this podcast, please go to the bottom and just hit the 5 stars, like the podcast, review the podcast, leave a comment. The one thing that I do want to ask you, what are your plans for Easter? Do you have any traditional plans, like Easter's coming up? Do you do anything special for Easter? For us, we always go to Revelstoke, BC. We go snowmobiling for the last hurrah of the year. Typically, we get together with some of our friends. We have one of our friends, he lives in Saskatchewan but works in BC, and he really just spends all of his time in BC. And so it's our last time that we get to connect with him until sled season next year. So it's just such a wonderful time. We do Easter egg hunt while we're there. I always put the Easter egg around the cabins that we stay at. The one year we did that and we had our friends. And my little guy was 1 and we had 2 other young teenagers with us. And I hid all these Easter eggs for everyone to do an Easter egg hunt in the morning. I was like, Ty invites you to this Easter egg hunt. And I hid some for the adults. So all of the adults got their own special bags, which was fine. But then I hid all the other ones. And then these other 2 adults went and did an early Easter egg hunt because they thought that like at 10 o'clock at night they could do this. So they went and got all the Easter eggs and then they started eating all the candy and we were kind of ticked at them. And then one of the kids, he knew the code into their cabin. So he broke into the cabin when they went for breakfast and he stole all the candy back. And I was very proud of him for that. So just little memories like that we have. So what do you do for Easter? Let me know in the comments. Again, like, rate, review, share. That would be amazing. And let's get started with Jacquie and my conversation on being you. How are you doing?
I'm good.
You're good. That's good. I thank you for doing this again. So much fun.
My pleasure.
I love it. And like I said before, I don't know much about being you. You know what I mean? I have a concept, I guess, but I don't know any more of it.
Most of us don't, and I can't even say that I've got it all figured out. Well, no, I can say clear-heartedly, I do not have it figured out. And I'm just learning more and more and exploring more and more. And it's like, okay, cool. I feel I have a greater sense of me than less of me. And I didn't know I wasn't being me before.
Right. And that's, I think the biggest thing is that people don't realize that they're not being themselves. So even yesterday when I was getting ready for Ty's birthday, Tim and Ty had gone to the store to grab something and I was at home and I'm kind of working on my puzzle, taking a few minutes for myself. And all of a sudden I came over like just massive anxiety. And I was like, where is this coming from? Like, is it mine because people are coming and I'm nervous? And I mean, it's friends and family. Like, I shouldn't be nervous. And I was like, is it not mine? And Tim got home. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But I'm like, I have an anxiety situation right now. And I just made myself a tea and I was good after that. But I was like, where was that? Was that even mine or was it somebody else's? Like, was something going on and I just picked up on it or what? Right?
Yeah. can be all of it. It's like where we stop ourselves is trying to figure it out too, versus like, okay, I'm aware of anxiety.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I was like, I don't know. Yeah. And Tim was like, what? Why? And I was like, I don't know what's going on. It's just there.
One of the things when I remember to do is all of us have been in those spots where our world gets really crunchy and small and we tend to shrink, keep shrinking and shrinking, and it's like make it go away, make it stop, like what you said, aware of anxiety or aware of stress or all these kinds of things, and we make ourselves smaller. So what I think is one of the greatest tools that has been shared with me, when I remember to use it, is to lower all walls and barriers. So if we were to do that right now, is to get really present. Like, first of all, finding 3 spots in your body that you can connect with, whether it's your butt on a chair or your feet on the floor, hand on your heart, hand on your stomach, whatever that is, finding 3 spots that you can connect with, your body can automatically calm you down too. But when you do that and you lower all walls and barriers that you have, known, unknown, barriers you've taken on from others, bought as though they were yours, whatever that is. And most people go, well, how? It's not a how, it's just doing it. It's just like that. Okay, I'm going to push down all walls and barriers. And from there, if you were to expand your energy out to fill the 8 corners of a room, whatever room you're in, and then expand 100 kilometers in all directions. So it's up, down, left, right, front, back, and expand more and more and more, and be sure to expand out the back of you and keep pushing those barriers down, knowing that any point in time you can pick them back up and put them back up if you wanted to. But let's play with this and see what it creates. So when you do that and you keep expanding out, one really cool question that I learned is, how big am I required to make my energy in order to have ease with everything I'm aware of? Because so many of us are really, really aware, but we try and dim that down, like dial it down in order to not be aware of something, versus get bigger, be all of you. So when you did that just now, Dawn, did you notice anything different?
I felt lighter.
Yeah, it's not wrong
Yeah.
if you didn't. But that's what happens for me too, is all of a sudden my world gets lighter. Whatever I was stressing about, thinking about, worrying about can dissipate, because it's actually not me. It's actually not in my world. I
Right.
can be aware of it. And that can be a mind trip. And I would just invite anyone to keep playing with it. Rather than get smaller, get bigger. And not bigger from the fight, puff up, flex, but just, and you can flex if you want, but just make your energy bigger.
Which I think so many people have a problem doing that, or don't know how. I guess I shouldn't say a problem, but just don't know how.
Yeah, I would say don't know how and never been invited to explore it.
Right. Because really, when we're children, which is where we're learning, right? Subconsciously, for the first 7 years, we're learning. We're not taught that. So then we're going to go through the rest of our lives not really knowing or understanding that until we are eventually taught that.
And many of us have learned to accommodate or compromise or go into a room and read a room and go, okay, they need me to be quiet, or okay, I need to be the class clown right now, or okay, there's some weird energy here. I'm either going to shut down or I'm going to react to something even though I don't have words for it. Like those kinds of things. So it can often be in conjunction to something we're aware of rather than just being ourselves.
So could we teach a little kid that?
Yeah.
Just say, hey, can you expand out your light to this and try it and see what happens?
Yeah, play with it. But they're most likely they often do it. And then sometimes we start going to school or different groups where you're told you're too much, or you're too loud, you're too this, you're not enough of this. You start bending, folding, stapling, who do they need me to be?
Right. Yeah.
And it's not conscious.
No, that's the thing. It isn't. You don't think about it. Like having an anxiety attack. Again, is it yours or is it somebody else's that you're getting? And you don't know, and you think it's yours, but maybe it's not.
Yeah. It can be that, and it can be like getting really present with your body and what's going on. Now, again, we're talking like this, like it's like you're wrong if you don't figure it out. Like, please, that is never, ever, ever the situation. I would invite someone to get as present as they can and look at, what's my point of view about what's going on? Like, what am I aware of? Oh, okay, well, I'm wrong, or I'm not doing this, or I should be doing that. Like, it's like back it up as much as we can rather than getting lost in whatever we're aware of. Say that 5 times really fast.
So when you actually say like being you from an access conscious perspective, what do you mean by that?
Well, So when I talk about it, it's kind of a lot of the things I've been invited to through the tools of access consciousness, and it's not only through access consciousness, if that makes sense. And what I mean by that is where we don't have the walls and barriers up. You just show up as all of you. And it's like, hey, this is me. You can take it or leave it, but I got me. I'm not going to leave me. And there's something so powerful and vulnerable and honest about showing up that way, that it not only invites others for that, or not only creates more space and ease in our world, but it does also invite others to that too.
Right. Again, unconsciously, because no one would know.
Yeah. No.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe I could share it this way. One of the really, really cool tools that I learned through Access Consciousness that keeps me going back to, that it shows up in a lot of different classes and a lot of conversations, I share it as often as I can, is 5 elements of intimacy. And 5 elements of intimacy, if you're willing to have it with you and for you, then every and all relationships around you will change. Whether it be work relationships, personal relationships, friendships, romantic, all that can change. And what they are is trust, honor, allowance, vulnerability, and gratitude. So if you're willing to trust you and have your own back, then would you ever be at the effect of anyone else's projections or expectations of you? You would choose for you.
Right.
And if you were to honor you, you would know that, hey, especially even when we start judging ourselves, is that actually honoring of me? Or when we're around different people, places, things, is like, is this actually honoring me? Is this actually honoring my body? Is this actually kind to me? And then gratitude is just, again, lowering walls and barriers and having complete gratitude. And so often we, in this world, learn judgment as though that's a way to show somebody we care. We make them right, or we make them wrong, or we make them good, or we make them bad. Just going, hey, I am just grateful you exist.
Yeah.
That's just something different. And it's not something that we're often invited to, or it's not something I learned.
I don't think many people would learn that. I'm just thinking of Ty and his little friends and stuff. They wouldn't have that either. And they're little. Again, that's where they should be learning it. But even as a parent, like I always say, like, thank you for him coming in, but it's thank you for you being who you are.
Yeah.
And
but does he actually have that? Does he actually be that already?
I would think quite a bit, yes. But there are times too where I am making him smaller simply by being, hey, let's not be so loud right now. It's bothering me or whatever, right? And he's excited, or he doesn't know how to show his emotions, and that's how it's coming out. And again, instead of being like, I'm grateful for you for having this emotion, or I'm grateful for this, we don't do that.
But is that honoring of you if something's not really landing for you?
No, and that's the other one. That's where it's like that little bit of a struggle too, where we have to work together, I guess, right? Where it's like, hey, maybe we don't yell and scream in the house. Can we go do that outside if that's what we need to do, where it's going to work better for everyone? Thinking about kids in school, they don't get to be themselves really.
No, it's a lot of structure in school. So it's like, it's honoring their unique way of learning and being and showing up in the world, still knowing that there is a system that is required in order to be a functional human in this world, or to show up in this world, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's trust, honor, vulnerability, or gratitude. And then the vulnerability piece is where we started. That's the lowering all walls and barriers, where you're just willing to show up. We've all been around people where you kind of, for me, I'll notice, I didn't realize what it was, but you notice like it almost catches your breath and you're like, okay, well, they might have a lot of walls and barriers up. And I know walls and barriers because I've had walls and barriers up most of my life. And it's just, as I'm learning to lower them, it's like, okay, that's actually more space. I actually have more space. And I actually feel more like me when I kind of will expand out and lower walls and barriers. So it's the vulnerability to show up as you, with you, without judgment, and, just be willing to be seen.
I know I have a huge problem with that, where I will read a room and I'm so afraid of being judged that I can change who I am, act differently. And it's all subconscious. Like there are some people where I'm very like outgoing and comfortable with, and then there's other people where I'm very reserved and I watch what I say a lot. And that would be that exactly, where I'm not lowering my walls and barriers. I'm not being vulnerable. I'm not being my true authentic self because of that fear of judgment.
Well, okay, so we can unpack that a few places. First of all, I think we talked about this before, but I'm not sure. Like, judgment is not real.
Right.
It's just a point of view. So we're so willing to judge ourselves as wrong and make somebody else's point of view more valuable that you will diminish you and make yourself smaller or different based on what you think they require.
Yes.
Versus if we go all the way back to whether you're on social media or you are in a family event or you see these kids, and I'm sure Ty does it all the time. I remember seeing pictures of him when he was like super young. He's totally himself. He doesn't care what he wears, what he looks like, who he talks to. He'll be friends with whoever. They don't have all these points of views and judgments. We've all been drawn to that. And I'll go to little girl, being both women, where she had the craziest hair, the craziest outfit, didn't care if she was, using finger quotes for those listening, pretty or perfect or had it all together. She was just being herself. And then somewhere we gave it up and made somebody else's judgment, even including our own judgment, more valuable and real than what's true. And so now I feel like it's time to start calling out our own bullshit. Going, okay, I'm going into this room. I'm aware of judgment. Is it actually even my judgment? If I didn't stop and try and figure out, is it yours, mine, there, where to go? Was it just go, okay, I'm aware of judgment. All right, interesting. Keep going.
Yeah.
Lower walls and barriers, keep going. That's the invitation that we are, is like when you're truly willing to show up as you, messy and all, but create something different. And it's something so if we go back to being you, that's what's something that keeps inspiring me and lighting me up to pursue conversations like this, to pursue classes that I facilitate like this, whether it's a Being You intro class or an actual deep dive into a weekend where it's 2 days of that. It's like this, because every time I get a little bit more sense of where I shut me down, shut me off, made me small, made me wrong, and it doesn't take days, years on a couch to overlap, and that's okay. That's an option too, that you're not wrong if that's the route you want to go. It's the awareness. When you have an awareness of something different, you can instantly change it.
Right.
Is what we're not willing to be aware of, that we're constantly at the effect of.
Yeah. Like in the Akashics too, they would say we have karma, right? So we all build our own karma. We have it. And it could take lifetimes to make this karma, but it doesn't take lifetimes to get rid of the karma. And that's exactly kind of how this is. It can take years of you judging yourself, but it's not going to take the rest of your life to stop judging yourself. You could literally do it instantly where you're like, I'm just done. There's no more judgment. I am who I am. I'm happy with me. I love me. And you work on that every day. And every little small step is leading you in the right direction in that regards.
Yeah, exactly. And the one word one of the words that'll hoop us the most is the why. Why did I do that? You did it. So what? Do you want to continue doing it, choosing it? Nope. Okay, next.
Right, exactly.
We buy that we need to dissect it and get to the guts and figure out why. It's not, that's not necessarily true.
Right. Just be aware of it and change it.
Yeah. And one of the ways that I loved that it was shared is like, why? Why is the fork in the road that keeps you going in circles and circles? And you're like, you don't understand why? Listen to a 2-year-old. Well, why? Why? There's no end to it. There's no answer. There's not. Yeah. We went to trust, honor, gratitude, vulnerability, and allowance. And allowance is, again, that lowering walls and barriers, and you have allowance for you. You speak about, oh, wow, I did all this planning. Some stuff was coming up for me. Okay, where can I have allowance for me? Okay, cool. I'm aware of something. I'm aware of where I'm tired, aware of where I judged myself walking into a room. Okay, cool. That's okay. What if I didn't make it real and true? Keep going. Allowance for where, as a parent, what a different world it would be if we had more allowance as parents to just go, hey, you know what? Wasn't my best self. Having that conversation with your kid. Can I have a redo? Or, just being in allowance without judging yourself.
Right.
Allowance is not making yourself wrong. It's not making yourself right. You're not fighting for something and you're not fighting against something. It just is.
Yeah.
But so much of this reality is like, if you're not in the fight, then you don't care. And that's one of the biggest lies.
I see that. I can definitely see that.
Yeah. Especially if you don't engage the way you think somebody should engage. Like if it's like, well, this is like you need to be at the top of the mountaintop, like cheering and yelling about how right or wrong this is. And if you're not doing that, then how wrong are you in somebody else's eyes versus, no, I can really care. I can really be an allowance of what is and what somebody's choosing. And I can choose to be myself and something different. And that is enough to change the energy.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Yeah.
I could see that. I'm just thinking, because you're right. If you're doing what they want, you're not being you. You're not being true to yourself and your authentic self. Yes, you're giving them what they want, but you're not giving yourself what you want. And maybe you're not that person that likes to go on the mountaintop and cheer them on or anything, but you can be so supportive of them behind the scenes or beside them or something like that.
All been in a room where there'll be this super loud, boisterous energy that walks in a room. And where like, you can feel it, you'll be drawn to somebody and they might say or not say, they may be vocally loud. And we can also be in a room where somebody walks in and they have this sense of themselves and this knowing and this awareness, and people are just drawn to them.
Yes.
Yeah, we've all been there. You're like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. And that's what'll loop our mind going, well, they're not doing this. They're not saying this. They're not fighting for this. It's something they're being.
Yeah, which is truly probably authentically themselves in that moment. Yeah. And we're all drawn to that because we all want that.
Absolutely. Yeah. We want it without knowing we want it. We know there's something, but we just can't necessarily always land it.
Yeah, that's true. I always think that too. Like sometimes if someone's like really out there, really loud, really voicing their opinion on something, I always think, is that truly who you are, or is that who you think you have to be for whatever reason? And I always think about that too for myself. I'm passionate about things. Everyone's passionate about things. But it's like, if we're trying to push it, are we trying to push it more so we believe it more maybe?
Because you only prove that which you don't actually believe. Otherwise, you'll just be it.
That's a really interesting way of thinking it, but that is true, definitely.
Otherwise, you just like, I'm just doing this. I don't need you to get it or not get it because it works for me.
Right.
And that's that honoring. That's that allowance. That's that trusting yourself. That's like showing up for yourself. And when you're willing to do that for you and have it, it doesn't matter what other people are choosing. We only try and get other people on board to validate where we're not willing to know ourselves and honor ourselves. It's like, hey, I'm not sure. Can you tell me I'm okay? Can you tell me I'm not wrong or I'm not as screwed up as I think I am? So that's the friendships, relationships, partnerships that we attract in going, hey, can you validate me without really asking for it, but somewhere underneath you're asking for it?
Oh, for sure. I could see that 100%. I wonder too if going to a therapist is almost like that too. It's like you go in kind of broken, right? Again, air quotes. And then you're leaving and you're like, oh, but I have reason to be this broken, or I have, this, and you can be validated for it. But yet at the same time, it's like, just, can you be you? Like, but we don't know how to be us because we have never learned how to be us. We come in this world as us, but yes, we are changed definitely through society. Whether if it's school, work, anything like that, people we meet, we're just always changing, trying to be what everyone else wants us to be.
Yeah. So that brings us into like where it's projected at you. Like I know for me, I always heard how responsible I was. So I was responsible. I was dependable. I was like a good girl. I was like, and you hear that and you're like, okay, well, this would keep me as a good girl, or this would not make me a good girl, or this would keep me as responsible, or this. So you're constantly navigating, right? Those projections of who you are. Versus,
you would think being called a good girl is a good thing, right? Or responsible is a good thing. But yeah, then it does. It puts you in that box.
Right. And then what can happen when we get this awareness too, Dawn, we almost feel frozen to not speak. I remember when I started having some of these conversations, I'm like, well, I shouldn't say that. That's not that. And it's not that. It's becoming aware of what the energy is behind it. Like a lot of times, you think of with kids, especially, you're just like, oh, you're such a good girl. You're such a, and so it becomes this projection, and it also becomes a means of control. Like, oh, if you do that, then you're bad.
Right.
If you do this, then so then it becomes and we're digging in the soup here. We're pulling the peas and the corn and whatever out with with this particular conversation, but it's being aware of what the energy is behind it.
I always like to tell Ty, like, even if he's, not, again, air quotes, perfect in a situation. So maybe he had a meltdown, maybe he was tired or hungry and his actions weren't what we would consider as perfect. I like to come home and be like, I'm very proud of you for how you acted because you were hungry and you let me know. And yes, there's a better way maybe of dealing with that. But at the same time, I'm like, you're still like, I'm still proud that he was able to voice that, or I'm still proud for how he acted in that regards. And Tim's like, but he didn't act right. And I was like, there is no right or wrong. It's just he was able to say, in his ability at his age level, to say, I'm hungry. So sometimes when he wanted to go somewhere, he would bite me. That's what he would do to get my attention. He would literally take my hand and bite and say, hey, listen to me. And now he just goes and gets his shoes, or he'll bring us our shoes and be like, hey, we're leaving, And it's just him trying to communicate. And I'm like, I'm proud of you for communicating that to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So he gets to communicate and also know that consequences. We all know there's consequences. Like sometimes telling somebody something that we're really, really aware of or want to protect doesn't always end well. Or sometimes, or like it's being aware of, okay, this is what's required. This is what's going on for me. I'm going to honor me, but it's also we're not talking to a 4-year-old in this moment too. And we might be in some degree, but as adults, it's like being aware of like, okay, if I continue this, then I push people away, or this is what happens. So it's not all about, I'm just honoring me and this is what I require and this is like, screw the rest of you. It's not, it's having your awareness. It's having your own back and the awareness of what gets created.
Right. Like we still have to be able, like you said earlier, to function in a society. Mm-hmm. So it can't just be us. Like we can't be that self-absorbed that it's just us, but we have to know at the end of the day, maybe we did compromise. Maybe we gave up a little bit of us for something or something that we wanted. But at the end of the day, we can still take that time and get it back somehow, right? It's like, oh, I really wanted to do my puzzle, say, for example, but we had all this other stuff, but you make and carve out that time for you because that's what maybe resets your nervous system or whatever type of thing.
Yeah, or it's what's required in that moment.
Absolutely. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's not giving up you, it's having the awareness of like, this is what I'd really like to do. And this is what my family requires right now. Okay, cool. I can compromise here a bit and I'll, whatever that is.
Right. But go back to you. Like, don't be like, oh, I'm going to compromise and then never go back to you.
Yeah. Or you can be an allowance of that. Just like, okay, well, I gave myself up here for the first 2-3 years of whatever. Okay, cool. Yeah. Now what would I like to choose?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. I like that. I like the idea if we can be intimate with ourselves, then it's just going to improve everything. Because again, we're a reflection, right? So what we do to us or how we treat ourselves reflects back to us.
Yeah. And so much of this world goes out and I mean, it's how I grew up. I thought if I had a relationship like, oh, if they give me everything I'm not giving me, then that's, then that'll be complete. And how much do we go, oh, my other half, as though you're only half. What if 2 wholes create something completely different? Then what do you create? What actually shows up in relationships, where we look at like, okay, well, I'm not good here, so I'm going to attract somebody who's good here, and it's like you're literally, if you go back to the puzzle, like you're putting pieces of a puzzle together rather than showing up as 2 wholes and going into creating something different, where it's actually you show up as all of you and somebody else shows up as all of them. It's something different. It's actually like a creationship, where it's something greater becomes of it.
I've never thought of that, but that would make sense. So if you're becoming yourself, what would it be like if the other person was authentically themselves too?
Yeah. And again, if you go back to the 5 elements of intimate that we talked about, it's like you being all of that, like you trusting, honor, allowance, vulnerability, and gratitude with you, then someone else having that with them creates something totally different, but also you having allowance for, hey, they're struggling in this area, or this is what's going on. Like it's being aware of that in you and others.
Yeah.
But not making it your deciding point. This goes down a lot of different avenues.
It does.
Yeah.
You don't realize that. Like just.
No. And it's not to freeze us. It's just to have more awareness of like, okay, where am I choosing from? Like if I was actually being me today, what would be fun? What would create ease? What am I aware of?
So for somebody listening, how could you help them? Like, I know there's a lot of tools that Access has with that, right? So the all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. Like just sayings like that. Is that where people would start? Or
You could, I always go to like before you starting doing tools, clear your head. Like maybe you start with getting your bars run, something like that. Like clear your head, start to be present with you in your own body, get to know yourself, get curious about who you are. Like if I was actually being me today, what would be fun? Like when you are truly being you, it feels like nothing.
yeah,
It
I'm
feels
trying to,
like nothing. Like what most people, like what about you? When do you feel most yourself?
when I don't think about anything, you know what I mean? Like it's just, it's light, it's easy, it's an easy flow, and things just,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for many people, it's in nature. It's doing something like they love. I've been to Hawaii a few times, and it was like that, like being in the ocean and just the mesmerize of the ocean. And it's like you said, like there's no fighting for anything. You're not fighting against anything. Your head's calm. There's no thoughts. You're just being aware. And so when something comes up from that space, and somebody asks you a question or something, it's like there's this knowing. You're not thinking, do I want this? Do I don't want it? You're just like, yes, no, okay. Do it.
Right. It's
Yeah.
just a flow.
Yeah. It's just a flow.
And to get to know yourself, like it seems almost hard to get to know yourself because, again, we've been conditioned in so many different ways that we don't even know where to start with being ourselves.
Yeah. And so what if it wasn't hard?
Yeah.
What if it was an ongoing journey? Like I think where I started is like maybe it's like I've been playing with these tools. I mean, I've been doing massage therapy for 30 years, and even through that modality and learning, it's like you learn more about the body, you learn more about other people's bodies. You as you get older, as you get more clear going, this works for me, this doesn't work for me. It's bit by bit by bit, and then playing with the Access Consciousness tools, and more specifically playing with being you classes and conversations and things like that. I'm like, that's more of me. Oh, that's cool. Oh, okay, I didn't realize that wasn't even mine. So it's been this ongoing learning and uncovering and acknowledging what works, what doesn't work, maybe what used to work, what no longer works. But there's no arrival. There's no like, aha, A plus, you're done, you're out, you're graduated.
I made it. I'm me now. Yeah.
That's why I love some of the conversations that in classes that I'm in or taken or so like that. It's that rinse and repeat. Like you could do the same class, even a bars class. There's many people who've taken like 4 or 5 bars classes and they'll be like, oh, is that new? I don't remember that conversation, because you're different. As you let go of more and more of your projections and expectations and all the judgments you have of you, or all the judgments you're aware of and all that kind of stuff, and you pull back those layers, you're able to receive and perceive something different.
Right.
So it's never like this 2 + 2 is always 4, nailed it, done it, put that away, got that course or class. And it doesn't have to be a rinse repeat. I just mean when we're willing to explore things like that, it's different. There's no conclusion. There's no end point.
Right. I see that because even like taking Akashic records and stuff, you can listen to your recording or whatever, and today it's going to resonate one way with you. And if you listen 6 months from now, it's going to resonate different with you, and you're going to pick up things that you totally forgot about or didn't even hear the first time around because your awareness wasn't there for it.
Yeah.
You weren't at that level.
Yeah. 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 You couldn't receive it in that moment.
Yeah.
It's totally cool. And the same with me, even facilitating bars classes. Facilitated how many bars classes? I'm like, oh, I actually can receive that. That's actually landing even differently. I can actually become more of that now. We talk about interesting point of view. So I can actually be more of interesting point of view rather than just doing it and giving it lip service.
Right. So let's speak about interesting point of view. What exactly is that?
Well, if you go back to where we started of like, you're not fighting for something, you're not fighting against something, you're not proving, you're not whatever, and you have allowance. So allowance and interesting point of view can go hand in hand. So you can just be an allowance. Like the way it was shared with me is like you're the rock in the stream. You don't get washed away, but you're aware of it. It kind of comes and goes, and you're not at the effect.
Right.
So we've all been in situations. So if somebody will say something, you're interesting point of view, where it has like that charge and that energy and that judgment, just like, wow, interesting point of view. I often joke in classes that I say a lot of cool. I'm like, okay, cool. Like that's like that word of like, I'm not agreeing with you, but I'm not fighting with you.
That's
Okay, cool.
your silent way of saying interesting point of view.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So people don't get
So
mad.
yeah, and if they get mad, that's okay. That's information for them.
Yeah.
Or if I get mad, that's information for me. If I didn't make myself wrong, just like, oh, okay, that triggered something. Okay, cool. What's my point of view about that?
Right. And I remember taking the class with you. That was one thing that came up is we talked about interesting point of view. And it's interesting when you do use that either with someone that you're having a conversation with where your point of views are different or whatever, or even yourself where you're like, that's an interesting point of view that I had that thought. Interesting point of view that I reacted that way or something. And again, it's not always trying to figure out the root cause of that. It's just like, okay, I reacted that way, and maybe next
And it
time.
gives you some space.
Mm-hmm.
If you can be interesting point of view, it gives you some space of how you would like to move forward. Where so much is projected at us, like, oh, if somebody says this, you don't take that, you fight back. Or if somebody says this, you say yes, thank you. Or, like this is how it's supposed to be. Just like, okay, cool, interesting.
So when we are fighting back, is that more our ego essentially than our actual soul? Like if we were to live an interesting
Well,
point of view.
You know about that.
Yeah, but right, like it would be,
Yeah.
right? It would be our ego self saying, "Oh, how dare you talk to me like that," right? Versus
Yeah.
us being like, "Okay, yeah, you're going through something. Obviously something's up or, whatever." And you just take it and walk away. And it's not saying that what that person did was right. It's just giving them the allowance to have that emotion or feeling or whatever they're going through, because we don't know what they're going through. Even living with someone, you don't know what they're going through and what's going through their heads or thoughts or all that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, today you're kind of crabby. Okay, well, I'm
Yeah.
here if you want to talk, but if you don't, that's
I'm
cool.
gonna go to the other room because you're not much fun to be around, but that's okay. You get to be you today, and I'm gonna choose what works for me. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. More of that.
If we could live like that, just, family dynamics in any way, that would just help the world so much, because you would learn it in the family and then you could take it out to the workplace. Because how many times you go to a workplace and people are in a mood that day, like you don't know what their kids were doing, their husband or wife or whatever before they even got to work, what side of the bed they woke up on, did their coffee spill, like all that. You don't know that situation, and then they come in and they're crabby and you're like, oh, and it kind of then ruins your day versus just
Well,
being
we
like,
make it personal. It's
yes.
not personal. Someone having a shitty day has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, exactly. You're still entitled to have your good day. If you walk in and you're having a great day, go with
Yeah.
it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And then like that can be like where you're aware of somebody having a bad day and we'll either like fight against them, or we make ourselves wrong for having a bad day, or it's kind of like what we also talk to too is like if somebody's right fighting something and you're not jumping in and doing the same fight they are, you're either fighting against them or you're with them. And that's the
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah. Can we just be like
Yeah.
a background character that day type of thing, right? And it's like, hey, if you need something, I'm here. But, I'm not going to get swept into that or totally remove myself either. Like you still want to be a part of them, I guess.
You're still present. You're still
Yes.
present. You're still aware. It doesn't mean you disengage and check out and put walls and barriers up, because that's something different. You're fighting against them.
And that's the thing, presence. That is, I think, hard for a lot of people to be present in the moment. And when you can, it's so much better. And it's even yesterday with Ty's birthday, I put my phone up, one picture and one picture of his cake, like that's it. And I was present, and it was so nice to be present and to talk to the people that came and celebrated with him versus being worried about taking all those perfect pictures and posting them and all of that. It was nice just to put the phone up. And I think right now with our technology, we're not present. We haven't been present for years.
I know. Yeah, I know when I like will get down that doom scroll and you watch a couple funny things and all of a sudden you're like, wow, there's 15 minutes gone, or that, and you don't feel like yourself anymore.
Right. Because you've took on everything from everyone else. You've took on, especially if you're on TikTok, and depending what your algorithm is, or even Facebook, whatever, that's going to contribute to your mood in a way at that point too.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah. Anytime I've done it, I'm like, no, this wasn't contributing to me. Yeah.
Exactly. And it is. And you can see it. Like people that doom scroll a lot, I feel like they are more depressed in life because they're picking up all that and energies and stuff like that. And even, like on my TikTok, I'll have people come in and they'll do Reiki. And I was like, I don't know you. And like, still to me, that's kind of just uncomfortable because I was like, you're in my energy field. Even if you don't know who I am and you're just doing it to your phone screen, it's still my energy field at that point in time because subconsciously I'm allowing you in there to quote unquote clean my energy. And I was like, no, I don't like that. I just scroll past those. I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the key, right? I allow you in. Yeah. Or I give me up in order to. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so interesting.
Yeah.
So first you're saying find yourself and then use the tools. I'm just trying to think. If I was somebody new on this journey, some advice I guess I got too. I do a course. This is my second year and I work with my Akashics teacher and she does this course where we work with goddesses. And it's really interesting. And last year I got Kuan Yin and she's the goddess of love, basically. And more
Love
like
and compassion, right?
pardon?
Love and compassion.
Yes. And I was working with her, and one thing that I had to work on was my self love. And it came up of ask yourself, is this what you truly want? Is this going to make you happy? Is this what you want to do right now in the moment? And again, being a mom, being a wife, like you do have to take into considerations what everyone else needs. But at the end of the day, it's like, what do you want to do? Or, if I'm just having that moment where I need something, it's what can I do? So even yesterday, I know sitting down for 10 minutes and doing my puzzle was really what I needed just for me to come back into my body to know what I truly wanted. And it's trying to find yourself would be finding something like that. Like maybe reading is something that you truly enjoy, but you haven't been doing it for so long and you forgot that you even enjoyed it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like what's fun for you? And even if in the moment, like you said, it's been so long, you're like, have no idea, to just go back and go, hey, that's okay. It's been a moment. Okay. Have
Yeah.
allowance for that. And just every day, okay, if I was going to choose something that was fun for me, what would I like?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not necessarily the thing you would like. It's sometimes shows up in the clarity of what you don't want. And even that's clarity, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Sometimes when I go on like tangents about things that I don't like, I'm like, okay, I see where I do that in life, or I see, where I'm calling that
Yeah.
in or bringing that in. I see the clarity now in that too. And it's not so bad to do that. And again, there's no right or wrong. With feelings, it's so hard because we have been taught that if you have this, again, air quotes, negative feeling, right? Like you're angry, you're mad, you're upset, like that's all bad stuff. You're sad. Is it? No, it's just an awareness that you're having this and there's something out there that maybe you need to work on yourself or
Acknowledge.
change something. Yeah.
Acknowledge. Just acknowledge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
I know for me, like when I get overwhelmed, I get busy and I just keep going and going and going instead of taking that moment to breathe and be like, okay, what do I truly need in this
What does
moment?
my
What,
body need?
yes,
Sometimes it's our bodies like screaming, I need rest. Okay,
yes,
time
exact.
out. We're done.
Yeah. And listening to that. And it's hard
Mhm.
because again, there's so much coming at us in every direction now. We don't have that. Where I
It's
think,
not hard once we get it, but it can be challenging to have that demand in place to go, okay, I'm not going to be on the hamster wheel anymore. I want to get present. What really works for me?
right. Because we
Yeah.
feel like right now the world isn't allowing presence. Maybe we're starting to get there a little bit more, but there was a time frame where we weren't allowing it. It was like the more busy you are, the better everything is, but it's not. It's literally being present, listening to ourselves, listening to our body. Like, is our body sore today? You know,
But then I could go down another rabbit hole over here because time in itself is a construct.
right.
So if we're like, well, I don't have time, it's so busy, it's so busy, it's so busy. I say that to people too when they'll be like, I really want your class, but I don't have time, I don't have money, or my partner won't let me. That's the three things that people stop themselves: relationship, money, or time. Sometimes those are real and true, going, hey, it's not the right time right now, or this is something I would like in the future, but I don't have the funds right now. So what do I need to put in play to actualize that? That's something different than our knee jerk going, I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. I'm always at the effect of time.
Right. The one thing I started doing was habit tracking. So I would write down 10 things that I wanted to do. And one's like read 10 pages a day in a book, or, do something for myself for even 10 minutes, whether that's like working out, puzzles, whatever it might be. And when you start marking that off every day and you see, and it's like, well, but I doom scrolled for 15 minutes. Instead, I could have taken that 15 minutes and I could have done my puzzle for that time frame, right? So there's that where you can kind of look at that and see, well, I do have the time. I'm just not managing my time as well.
And to be an allowance of that. Hey, that's okay. I doom scrolled for 15 minutes. Okay, cool. I didn't feel great after. Okay, do I want to, like to have allowance for that. Also, I know I used to do this to myself often. Make this grand gesture list of all these things I was going to do. And if I didn't do them, then I made myself wrong. Or see, can't get anything done. Versus when I really got present, what of that list is actually fun that I want to do? What actually is required to be done right now? What can be done 2 months, 3 months in the future? Just being kinder to ourselves.
Yes.
I remember we so often want other people to be kinder to ourselves than we're willing to be to us. We're hoping somebody else will be generous or kind, or, versus having that kindness and generosity with you, then it's kind of like you teach people how to treat you. I remember good old Phil McGraw. Remember his show?
Yes. Yeah.
You might be too young, but you teach people how to treat you. I remember him saying that so clearly all the time, and it's true.
But it is true because we mirror out what we are projecting for ourselves, right? So if we aren't kind to ourselves, well, then the world isn't going to be kind to us. Right. So it is. You have to start being kind to yourself before you're going to receive that kindness. You have to start loving yourself before you're going to get that love, right? I mean, how many times
time, and then you have more time.
And so I heard too, like making lists, what it does is it tells the universe that you want all your moments filled up, right? So then the universe like, yeah, we'll just keep giving you this and this and this and this. And it is like when I was working and I'd be like, okay, my to-do list today, because obviously the bosses are giving you things that you have to do. So you make your to-do list and it's like another thing was added. I'm like, I don't feel like I ever really accomplished my list. Like it gets down and then boom, it's full again. And that's what I realized too, like at home, especially before parties or people coming over, I'll like make my list of what we need to do. And then it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed and working for 3-4 days prior. And I was like, if I just didn't make that list, would it have just gone a lot more smoothly? Maybe.
Sometimes. Yeah. Cause then you have the presence. You're not the lists bitch, really.
Yeah.
Cause you're not, now I got to do this because I wrote it down, or, and it's different. Like you said, when you have an employer, you're employed somewhere, there are things that are required. So it's having the awareness of what's required. And then there's our life list, it's like, I got to do this, got to do this. So we're never, ever able to choose something different because it's like, I put it on here, I put it in pen, I can't change it. This is what I decided, not chose. So another thing we talk about often is choosing in 10-second increments. Okay, I chose that now. Do I want to still continue to choose that? Do I still want to continue to choose that? Doing like choosing your relationships in 10 seconds. Like, okay, cool. I married this person. Do I want to still stay married to them? Maybe it's longer than 10 seconds, but really like looking at that going, oh, I still choose you versus I made that choice 10 years ago. I'm stuck with it.
Yeah. And how many people believe that, right?
Yes. And are miserable. It doesn't, but because it takes our choice away versus, oh, I'd still choose you. I'd still choose this. I still choose to be here. Is empowering. It's acknowledging you. It's including you in the equation.
Yeah, I've never really thought of it that way either, but that makes sense. And to choosing
the job, I'm choosing to go to work every day instead of like, oh, I got 10 years, 3 hours, whatever to put in before I can retire. I had a client who counted down minutes and days, like for years. He's like 3 more years to do this many days, and I'm like, what? He's miserable. His health sucks.
Well, yeah. I could see that. It's like Tim and I are talking too about me going back into the workforce, and it's come up, and I was like, it's not a permanent thing. I said, like, we have this idea and this goal that we want for our family. I was like, but just because I need to choose that today doesn't mean 2 months from now we need to choose that. And when I said that, I was like, that's actually really empowering, because at first I was like, I got sad and depressed, and I was like, this isn't what I want to do, and I was like, but it doesn't have to be the rest of my life. It could be a month, it could be a week, it could be whatever we make it. and just go with that. And you're right, choosing, making those short little increments. Maybe it isn't 10 seconds on the bigger life choices, but maybe you review it every week, month, year type of thing. Say, is this really where I want to be?
Yeah. And something that stuck out for me, that what you said about choosing that really was helpful for me, is acknowledging anything we're not willing to choose, we're at the effect of. Doesn't mean you have to choose it, but if you're like, I will never, ever, ever do, so then that constantly is the thing you have to fight against. So you never choose it. It's like people wear this badge of honor. It's like, I'm kind, I do the right thing. So they're never, ever willing to be perceived as wrong, being willing to be perceived as a bitch, being willing to be perceived as anything less than kind and perfect. So you're constantly in judgment of yourself going, well, am I still being kind? Am I still being perfect? Am I still doing this right? Am I still... Versus, like you said, okay, I'm willing to look at might require to go back to work for a year or two. Okay, cool. Even that, the universe starts contributing to something different, going, okay, this is, we can change it up here, whatever it is. That was something that was so helpful for me to get. If I'm willing to choose it, doesn't mean I always have to choose it. Or if I choose it, it doesn't mean it's concluded decision for the rest of my life, like you said.
Which is exactly like even homes, right? Like we're like, oh, we bought this home. Oh, we can never move again. No, you can. You can. Yeah. You have the right and the choice whenever you want to move. You don't have to be in the same province as everybody else because that's what was chosen for you. Like I said to Ty the other day when it was so windy here, I'm like, buddy, if we don't move to BC before you, I said, when you are old enough, you move because this is ridiculous. Like, when we have our 100K wind and you're just like, oh my gosh, why did we choose this spot? But I was like, we don't have to. We're just assuming right now that's where we have to choose, right? So again, at any point in time, we can up and move if that's what we really wanted to do.
Nothing is final.
Exactly. And I think that's the hardest part for people. They don't realize that.
Yeah.
And then we do put ourselves in a box and then we aren't who we truly are.
Yeah. It's an ongoing exploration. It's the curiosity. I created this group years ago called Live in Wonder. And there's just something about that energy, which is like, just be curious, just explore, just, everywhere you've made everything definite and decision and the end goal. And it's like, give yourself the kindness and allowance to reevaluate. Is that something that still works for you? Would you still choose it?
Right.
And also the willingness, would I be willing to be seen as wrong according to everyone else's point of view in order to have me?
Right. Yeah.
That's the most freedom. Everybody's willing to judge the shit out of you, but you still have you. Would you choose it?
Yeah. And when you don't,
no, then that's something for you to look at.
Well, yeah, you don't think about that, right? Like you're so worried of being wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've been taught that being wrong is wrong. Like, you can't be that. It's a failure to be wrong. But really.
But who decided that?
And who decides who's right for you?
Yeah. I mean, if anything, 2020 taught us that. The whole COVID experience taught us, okay, everybody has different points of view. Everyone is entitled to different points of view. Everyone has different awarenesses. Everyone has different bodies, different choices. What works for you?
Yes, exactly. I like that. If you're willing to be wrong. Yeah. And it's not being wrong, but you're still choosing yourself and people are going to judge you.
But wrong again is a judgment.
Yes.
Right is a judgment. We make right the good judgment, but it's still a judgment. Based on who? Based on what?
Yes. And it's just like I say, like there's no such thing as right or wrong feelings, right? Like there's no good or bad feelings. It's the same. There's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
It's just maybe how we react to certain things. Like I hate saying a better way, but is there a better way of reacting, right? Like
well, this might be a nice place to wrap this up. When you say judging and the right and the wrong and the good and the bad, the difference between judgment and gratitude is a point of view. Gratitude does not have a point of view.
Right.
You cannot have gratitude and judgment exist at the same time. So judgment is just a fixed point of view.
Yes. I see that. Yes.
Yeah, that's all it is. And we make it whether it's a good judgment or a wrong judgment or a right judgment or a bad judgment.
Right. And gratitude for you is going to be different than gratitude for me. What I find something is grateful and I'm grateful for is going to be, maybe you look at it and you're like, I don't get it, but that's okay, right? Because you're going to have
get it in order to have me.
Right.
You don't need me to get you in order for you to have you.
Right. I wonder what the world would look like if we were all able to be ourselves.
We'll make sure that.
You
Yeah.
know, that would just be an amazing place. I truly believe that. I don't
Well,
know if we'll ever get there, but
would you be willing to be the leader of that?
uh, I, yeah, it would
Not
be,
for everybody else, but just go for you.
yeah, just do things. And it's funny, like without even realizing it, I've been judged so much in my lifetime. And even throwing the party last night, like, that there's going to be judgments, right? But it was like the first time where I was just present and I didn't care what other people thought. And I'm starting to do that a lot more where I was like, I don't care if you like who I am or not. I'm doing this because this is what I wanted to do, or this meant something for Ty, or whatever the case might be. And I'm just really living that more present sort of moment and doing what's right for me. And the clarity and the ease and the freedom, it's so nice. And that's really what we're looking for in lifetime is freedom. Freedom of everything. That's, I think, the number one goal everyone wants. So let's be
Well,
free and be
free to
ourselves.
be ourselves. Free to be ourselves. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that.
How much different would our earth be if we never judged ourselves again?
Exactly. And that's the thing. We have to stop judging ourselves to stop other people judging us, right?
Yes. Yes. And not make their judgments real. It's about them, not you.
And that's where I am now too. I'm like, oh, I'm like, you're judging that or you're thinking that. I'm like, that's a you thing. I don't think that. But at the same time, and then sometimes I do flip it too. And I was like, if you are, do I deep down somewhere think that just that little bit, and can we let that go? Can we just say, I don't want that anymore? Again, that awareness, it's there. You're like, it's not serving me anymore. Maybe it did when I was 5, and that's okay. But I've grown and I've changed and all of that. And that's, I think, where a lot of our stuff comes from is it served us before, but it doesn't have to serve us now. But we don't know who we are without that. So we're afraid to be that person.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I have this thing that popped. I was going to maybe read these 4 lines that are in my Being You manual. It's something that just lands for me every time I read it. And it says, what the bleep is being. Imagine waking up in the morning and having a sense of gratitude for being alive. Imagine not having to fight people around you or align and agree with them. Imagine being in any situation and having a sense of peace, ease, and joy. Imagine not judging any of the choices you have made or are making, or any of the choices people around you make. Imagine feeling really good about yourself and not needing to prove anything to anybody. Being you isn't about succeeding as you or doing something better. It's about being the energy of you, whatever that may be, in any situation. When you start being you, you stop being the effect of the world around you. You are in the control seat, and you know any situation can be changed.
That is perfect. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I love it.
Thank you so much for doing this. This was so fun.
Thank you. Yes, it was
You're
awesome.
welcome.